one for Mr. Foster. What inspired you about the script? One for Mr. Alan Rick. How did you enjoy playing your role, which is kind of a sad role? And one for Vivian, the character Vivian. It was a great short role you played. How was it playing beside such big stars like Sigourney Weaver and Mr. Rickman?
Am I Mr. Foster? Okay. I am now. It was just, actually, I have to really thank the producers a lot, because the films I've done before were rather grim and dark and horrific. And this is a film that was a script that was so lovely and redemptive, and above all else had real human beings in it. And I think it's fair to say that the real source of everything that happened through directing and acting and everything was that script. It was very inspirational to read, and I was surprised and glad that it let me have a go at it. You know, it was something that I just wanted to do as soon as I read it.
Well, I don't think he is that sad, really. I think he actually finds himself by the end of the story, and there's a kind of huge release of whatever you want to call his personality, but it's very reactive, and you know, so an awful lot of that is down to the great gift of working with Emily and Sigourney. Sigourney did the most enormous amount of work, which was like a huge present to me, because it was so true and truthful, and so there was always this reference point. You knew you were reacting to something unbelievably accurate. So in a way, I think acting has never been so easy for me. I could just be, you know. I find acting really rather difficult. So, and Emily is in a way the heart of the film for us both, because it's coming to terms with the sudden loss to him and shocking loss of this young girl, and trying to figure out what loss it is to this woman that he's has a relationship with. Everything about it was just new to me, and that's a thrill.
And acting with Alan and Sigourney was, of course, an actor's dream. And more than that, they were just really nice to me, which they didn't have to be. And I mean, I mostly worked with Alan, but me and Sigourney danced together, which was really good.
I have to say that the moment of Sigourney and Emily dancing together was quite late in the shoot, and it was like this presence in Sigourney's character's life that they're never actually in the same scene together, and it was quite an emotional process shooting that dance, because the looks between them spoke volumes, I thought.
I have another question for Mr. Evans. I think you found a lot of comical aspects in a situation that is supposed to be sad, or sad story. So how did you keep this balance between comical and comedy and sadness?
I had these actors, basically. I mean, I think it was in the script, and I think it was just about the actors playing it truthfully, I think, because hers is an absurd world, and he finds himself in an absurd situation. So that was their gift to me.
Okay. Another question. The one over there? Okay.
A question to Mr. Aikborn. I would like to know, you are so accustomed to steal films from the others. How do you feel having Sigourney Weaver steal the film from you?
I'd like to think that acting isn't a competition. I'd like to think we're all in it together. So I don't really understand your question. From somewhere deep in my gut, I don't understand your question.
Are there more questions? Over there on the left.
Caprara from La Stampa, Italian newspaper. I wish to know from Mrs. Weaver, in which way is changed, if it is changed, the way in which you find your roles now. What is the thing that now is more important for you in choosing your roles?
Well, I think it's You know, I think it's hard for actors to find projects as wonderful as Snowcake. So it raises the bar, and also the experience of working together in such a tight ensemble and such an intimate experience is something I enjoyed very much. But I think I can only speak for myself, but you know, acting, you have to sort of, you know, set sail and go and see what comes. You can't kind of have extraordinarily high standards or whatever. You know, you just have to follow your gut, as Mark was talking about earlier, and look for something that moves you and that you would want to see and is a story that you would want to tell. And so that's continuous, I think, throughout a career if you're lucky enough to be able to pick and choose what you can do.
Thank you. Another question on the right.
Hello, I'm Anna from Koroške Radio from Slovenia. I have a question for Ms. Pell. I would like to know why did you choose the snow as the main motive, as the main symbol of the film? Is it only connected to Alex's character, like that he finally sees the sun at the end, or does it have deeper connotations?
I think the only reason I chose it was because my son keeps eating it, and I quite liked eating it when I tried it. So that was kind of my main theme. But when we started working on it, we talked about having a Thor at the end, and so it kind of became a bit more so when we actually started working on it. But originally, I think it was just there purely because my son does it.
There's a question in the first row.
For Mr. Weber, it was very nice from you that you talk about autism as a condition and not like as a mental disease. I liked your movie very much, But what was the most impressive experience you had? If I could understand, you were in contact with autistic people. And I think your movie is a way to understand for the society that mental patients are not always, they don't have always to be in psychiatric institutions. Many of them are able to have a family life if there's someone by them to take care of them. What was the most impressive experience you had when you were in contact with them? Supposed to be people who doesn't have contact with the reality. But what was the most impressive experience for you?
Well, I think the world concentrates on seeing people in terms of assets and deficits, and people think of autism as a definite deficit for people. And having worked or been with people on the spectrum for many months, I think that we have to begin to see it as a gift. We may not understand what it's there for, but if you're in the presence of someone with autism, you know, for a long time, you learn so much. You learn how to play. You learn how to see things. You learn how to experience things. And you also learn how jarring the world is. And, so I think it's hard for me to say one thing, but I certainly think I re-experienced learning how to enjoy very simple things. I loved the time I got to spend with, and I consider the people I spent the time with friends, and I know there was a bond, but so it's there's so many misconceptions to me about autism. That's one of the things that I sort of discovered.